Peace reflections. You are over here with Terethia, and we are here talking about the return of Ishtar and the fallen ones. Reflection. Did she come along? Ishtar. Is your spirit returning, baby? Is your spirit returning? Let's go down this rabbit hole. Reflection. Before there was a freak off reflection. Before the FOs, there was Ishtar Temple, baby. Yes, I keep telling y'all ain't nothing new under the sun. Nothing is new under the sun. Reflection. If you think that is new, let me go back and I'm gonna show you this shit have been done before. It have been done before. Reflection. Everything Hollywood get, they took it. Reflection. They took that shit. Take that, and then take some more. Okay, so with that being said, remember, everything over here is the legs on the rolled up and pulled up 3 times. Reflection. Before I came up over here on Earth, I'm straight out of Mars. So you know you got to check our information. You have to check our information over here for Mars. Reflection, okay? Because we are now on Earth, the planet of illusions. So with that being said, hit the like and subscribe button because it lets everyone know I have officially pulled up with my spaceship. And this is how we do, because I got my whole crew with me. Reflection, I got the whole crew with me. And we are here to shake shit up. So if you do not know who Ishtar is, hopefully after this video reflection, you have a better insight on who she is, what she stood for, and what the Temple of Ishtar was really all about. Until next time, reflection, let's get started. Okay, let me turn my music down to my spaceship. They said, damn, Truth, you finna end it. You said, until next time. I told you I rolled it 3 times before I got here. You have to sometime. That's the requirement. Yes, we're coming to Ishtar's temple. Yes, you gotta have a little something. You gotta have a little roll up or a little pull up reflection. Okay, you gotta have a little something to bring in them. I got that feeling to have that feeling. Okay. So with that being said, for everyone, who haven't read this book, The Return of the Gods by Jonan Kane Kahan, one of them, reflection, I don't know, don't make me mess up the name, but anyway, this is a Christian Dior book right here. It's called The Return of the Gods. And for anyone who wants to know more about the Trinity, he spoke a lot about the Trinity in this book right here. Now, everything in this book, reflection, he did dress it up and make it real for you. He sprinkled a little truth with a couple. You get what I'm saying. Everything in there, you got to do your own research, but he was on point on a lot of shit in there. Okay. So with that being said, reflection, we're actually going to double back. We gonna double back on that later, but I definitely, I come with receipts. Teresa just ain't gonna come over here and say anything. Reflection, I gotta come with receipts so you can go and check my information. You have to double check T, baby. You have to double check T, and that's okay. That's okay. I ain't mad at you, reflection, because I would double check you too. You are truly my reflection. So with that being said, reflection, let's get started. Okay. Let's start off the video talking about Ishtar. And when you go and do your research on Ishtar, for anyone who haven't heard of the Anunnaki, they're gonna kind of go hand in hand together. The stories kind of collide, reflection. So let's see what really is the relationship to Ishtar. Why is so much of her symbolism still around to this modern day, reflection? And why is she not talked about? Why was she suppressed so much throughout history? But a lot of her spirit symbolism, reflection, is still, no matter where you go today, whether you are at a grocery store, whether you're at work, whether you're at the doctor, whether you buying a car, it doesn't matter what you're doing, reflection, you may see a little just a little pinch. I'm not saying you're gonna see the whole symbol of Ishtar. I'm saying you might possibly see a little pinch, reflection. Remember, it's only magic if you can hide it in plain sight. Now, if allegedly, just alleged, if they did suppress all of her history, the bigger question is why? Why would they suppress all of Ishtar's history? Okay. What went wrong? Reflection. What went wrong? Was they not enjoying the freak offs? What went wrong? Allegedly. Okay. Allegedly. All right. Now we know, reflection, they like to go back and retell history in their own way to benefit them, reflection. Okay. We know that. So what we over here to do today is tonight, whenever you hit this video, we got to decode this, reflection. I got to take you back when, baby. I have to take you back when, so you don't be confused out here, reflection. Okay. So with that being said, hit the like and subscribe button because to let everyone know we over here talking about Ishtar, the one who goes by many names.
Today is a very unique day, not only because it's Easter. Easter can be found traced all the way back to ancient Kemet. Especially with the Easter egg hunt that you now, even to this day, and we know that after the story goes that after Osiris was cut up, and this is mythology, Osiris never existed as an actual human. You see what I'm saying? These are stories actually that's talking about a future race, talking about us. You see what I'm saying? After Osiris was cut up, Isis in order, Aset, in order to find the parts of the body, they used the children of the Nile in the mythology to find the actual pieces of Osiris or Osar. So in so many words, that's what the origin of the whole Easter egg hunt, as well as the whole fertility aspect from the goddess Ishtar, Astarte, Anana, Het-Heru. This is also a great day for that also, as far as the whole fertility aspect of the whole the bunny rabbit and all of that stuff. So they took ancient festivals and then they fused the Christian stuff into it.
Come here, sweet shadow. Allow me to impart some wisdom. There's far too many secret societies out there.
All right, Reflection, hit the like and subscribe button. I didn't want to play that clip because it was too much of the movie playing in there, but I think you kind of get the idea. Remember, these guys, Reflection, they believe that they were immortal. They can reincarnate. They coming back again and again. So you got to think, Reflection, they're not coming back as the same name. And you also got to think they lived a lot longer than we did on this planet right now. You know, we have dropped all the way, Reflection, in frequency. We have dropped all the way in frequency. So we don't live as long as they live back when. If you even go and look at how long they used to rule one particular god or goddesses. They may rule, Reflection, for thousands of years. How you rule for thousands of years if you don't live thousands of years, Reflection? You got to think, okay? So with that being said, things were a lot different. You got to think, if you go think about you right now today, you go over here, Reflection. Somebody may call you that, your friends may call you something else, your mama may call you this, your father may call you that, your cousin may call you something else, but it's still the same person. It's still you, Reflection. It's still T. Okay. So with that being said, it's like that. Yeah, her name changes depending on the location, but we still talking about the same spirit. We're still talking. Just think, Reflection, you have to go back and you listen to stories. You got to read these stories, okay, Reflection, and you will notice these stories start sounding alike. They sound alike, Reflection, because it's the same person. It's the same energy, but their name changed depending on the place, the location, and what was going on at that time.
Today, I'm going to talk about stars. I'm going to start off with the 8-pointed star and go to the most famous depiction, the 5-pointed star or the pentagram. Up above me, it says the goddess Inanna, Sumerian queen of the heavens, and Ishtar, Astarte, the Babylonian goddess known as the Lightbringer. An 8-point star enclosed within a circle was the symbol for the sun god. The Babylonian star cult is the core and the archetype of subsequent astrology. From Origins and Meanings of the 8-pointed star. Down below, several representations of Ishtar. Notice the 8-pointed star on her head. The tarot card depicts Venus, who is also linked to Ishtar. The 8-pointed star is a symbol of Ishtar. We've got to remember, in this ancient mystery religion worship, all of these religions are centered around astrology, worshiping the heavenly bodies and worshiping the sun and the moon, also worshiping the creation, all things in nature down here, even the human body, the gods and goddesses of the pantheon, which are the fallen angels and the Nephilim, which were the giants, the mighty men of renown in very ancient antiquity. They are all also represented by stars in the sky. That's why you have Astarte or Ishtar, Aphrodite, all being represented by the star Venus. It goes along. Each, Zeus is associated with the planet Jupiter, and so forth. So each of these gods have an associated star or planet in the heavenly bodies. Pentagrams. The Egyptian hieroglyph representing star had 5 points, while the star sign in Mesopotamian cuneiform had 8. Sopdet, the Egyptian personification of the star Sirius, is always shown with a 5-pointed star hieroglyph. As a symbol or emblem, the 5-pointed star or mullet of 5 points arises from classical heraldry, and it shares none of the esoteric or occult associations given to the pentagram or seal of Solomon since at least the Renaissance period. Pentagrams were used symbolically in ancient Greece and Babylonia. Christians once commonly used the pentagram to represent the 5 wounds of Jesus. Today, the symbol is widely used by the Wiccans, witches, and pagans. The pentagram has magical associations. Many people who practice neo-paganism wear them as jewelry incorporating the symbol.
So we already know it all goes back to a star, or a star, Ishtar, again, star, whatever you want to call it, reflection, whatever. Okay, the female version that goes by many names. Okay, so with that being said, reflection, we are over here talking about Ishtar and the symbolism. She has a lot of symbolism that is still among us today. And if you haven't read the book, The Return of the Gods reflection, that would definitely be a good pickup. Now read it with your own discernment, reflection. Read it with your third eye, not those two, because you're gonna have to pick your information up out of there. Okay. Now but it's a good resource. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk more about Ishtar.
They say the greatest thing on earth is the knowledge of self. Welcome to Pathology. Let's go. Ishtar, a prominent deity in ancient Mesopotamian religion, held multifaceted roles and attributes across different periods and cultures. Known as Inanna in Sumerian mythology and Ishtar in Akkadian mythology, she was worshipped as the goddess of love, fertility, war, and sexuality. Ishtar was revered for her duality. She embodied both nurturing aspects associated with fertility, love, and sensuality, and assertive attributes linked to war, power, and justice. Her symbolism was rich and diverse. Ishtar was celebrated as a goddess responsible for the abundance of crops and fertility in the land. She was invoked by people seeking blessings for marriages, childbirth, and agricultural prosperity. As a warrior goddess, Ishtar was a formidable force in battle. She was called upon for protection and victory, and kings often sought her favor before military campaigns. Ishtar's connection with sexuality and sensuality was an integral part of her mythology. This aspect was tied to rituals and practices that aimed to ensure the vitality of life and fertility. Ishtar was associated with the planet Venus, often referred to as the morning and evening star. The movements of Venus were thought to reflect her divine presence and influence. Her mythological stories, notably the descent of Inanna or descent of Ishtar, recount her journey to the underworld. This tale symbolizes themes of death, rebirth, and the cycles of life, emphasizing her power and resilience. Ishtar's worship involved rituals, temples, and festivals across Mesopotamia. Her symbols included the 8-pointed star, lions, and the rosette. She held a significant place in the pantheon of Mesopotamian gods and goddesses, and her cult persisted across different civilizations for centuries, influencing neighboring cultures as well. Ishtar's enduring legacy lies in her multifaceted nature, her role as both nurturer and impact on ancient religious practices, societal norms, and cultural expressions in the region. Welcome to Pathology. Double tap the screen. Follow for more.
called Ashtoreth. She in Mesopotamia, she's called Ishtar. When she went into the Greek land, she was called Aphrodite, and then Venus. She is all over, and she's mentioned specifically there. Now, in the Canaanite mythology, she's actually the wife of Baal. So Baal has a wife. Okay, and so when Baal comes, the next one to come, it says in the Bible says Baal, then it says Ashtoreth. Then she's coming in. So what this means is once the door is open, she is the goddess of sexuality, of sexual immorality. She's the goddess, she's actually called a prostitute. She's the goddess who her temples were filled with sexuality. It was made it public. So if she returns, what would happen? If she comes out, it means that America is going to undergo a sexual revolution. That is the sign of the possession of Ishtar, or this goddess. And the thing is, so sex comes, what she did, what a prostitute is she actually damages marriage. She actually weakens marriage. That's what happens. Brings sexuality into the culture. In ancient times in Israel, in the Middle East, she put her images of naked people all over the culture. And so not only she was in her Greek form, she gave birth to a child named Eros. We get the word erotica. So erotica starts flooding America. The word for prostitute, which is what she was, in her Greek incarnation is the word porne. We get the word porn from it. So there's an explosion of pornography all over the culture. So what Baal does, in one sense, she's repaganized, she's overturning biblical standards of sexuality and marriage, and she is paganizing our culture through sexuality and through possessing it. And she's also the goddess of spells and witchcraft. So she casts her spell on America, and we are still in it to this day. And it goes further, Sid, because something strange about the goddess, and that has to do with gender. Because what she also did, let me tell you, in her ancient inscriptions, I'm looking at these ancient inscriptions, she says, I am a woman, I am a man. It says it's said in her hymns, it says she has the power to transform a man into a woman and a woman into a man. So what's going to happen? Wow. What's going to happen if she comes into the culture? You're going to start seeing what she's going to do is she's going to start masculinizing women, defeminizing women, and feminizing men. That touches everything. I mean, it touches our culture, touches the roles, touches radical feminism and sexuality. And so all this stuff that we're having, saying, how could this happen? This is all the goddess. It's all there. It even goes further. She had a priesthood. Her priests, listen to this, in her temples were men who dressed up as women. And they acted as women dressed up. So what's going to happen if she comes back? What's going to happen is, as she possesses a culture, is that men will start dressing. We'll start seeing that in our culture, which we do. These are her ancient priesthood. Also, they were involved in same-sex sexuality. We see that explosion as well. Also, it says, remember, she says she turns men into women, transitions them, and women into men. Many of her priests were actually surgically altered. And she especially, all the gods, but they go after the children. Because if you have the children, you have the future. And so that happened in ancient times, happening now. And so you think, what would possess an adult to do this to children? Well, what would possess it? The spirit. The spirit of the goddess. And I'm going to go even farther, because this is mind-boggling. And that is that the goddess was in charge, she was a goddess of parades. She had parades happening all over. And when I looked at the ancient inscriptions of the parades, it describes them, and it says in the parades, the men would dress up as women in the parades, the women would dress as men. It would be a parade of gender bending, and that's exactly when you see this happening now, that's the sign of the goddess. And Sid, it's even like more mind-boggling, because I'm looking at this, and I look at the ancient observers, and they said, when did this thing happen? They said it happened, even St. Jerome, it happened in the month, they called it in Latin, Junium. June was the month of the goddess. She claimed a month, June, and she was the goddess of pride. So we have now a pride month. It's all come back. This is not through these things, through these festivals, she possesses a culture. And that's the
hit the like and subscribe button, Reflection. We're just looking at, he's the author of this book right here, The Return of the Gods. Now remember, I told you in this book, Reflection, you have to read it with discernment. You can't just listen to everything that's going on in this book. T read this book, I read it 2 times, Reflection, just to make sure. I said, you telling the truth, but you sure sprinkling a whole lot of, you get what I'm saying, some illusions over this, Reflection. Let's go back. Let's go do some correction. Hit the like and subscribe button. We are over here talking our shit. We over here talking about the one who go by many names, the feminine version. We talking about Ishtar, baby. We talking about Ishtar, Reflection. Depending on where you at, her name changed. Now, he said in that Reflection, remember, think about in Hollywood how they had these parties, right? As we go on throughout these videos, If you watch what go on at the Hollywood parties, you're gonna be like, damn, this shit sure sound familiar. They gotta take off and then they wear a mask, and then they, okay, is it for power? It was for power reflection. Let's talk about this. You got to think all the kings, all the pharaohs and shit, they running their kingdom, they ruling their kingdoms reflection. But when everything, when the lights go down reflection, every couple of cycles, everybody get together. All the royalty, they get together and they go to Ishtar's temple reflection. They go to Ishtar's temple and they go down in Ishtar's temple. But it wasn't on what they're trying to bend it as. It wasn't on a sexual, they just up there just fucking reflection. Shit, we on YouTube, but I'm just saying, get the kids out, get the kids out, get the kids out. We talking our shit tonight. When I come over here with certain videos, you got to get these kids up out of here, reflection, because Terethia be talking. I be talking. Okay, so with that being said, reflection, roll up, pull up, because we over here talking about the return of Ishtar. Now, they were also saying, remember the kings and the pharaohs, they would all come to Ishtar temple. They would all come to Ishtar temple. They would all, you get what I'm saying? Exchange power, reflection, exchange power. Back when they understood the power of sex, they weren't just out here just with everybody. They weren't just clapping cheeks with everybody, reflection. They understood that's power down there, baby. I can't just give you my life for it. I just can't do that. I'm trying to rule kingdoms and manifest good protection and shit over the land. Yes, reflection, that what was going on. So they would go to Ishtar's temple and they would exchange power. They would do rituals. They would do shit like that. It was the house of the, you get what I'm saying? When you think about FOs and shit, reflection, why do you think they be having these FOs? You think they just having these FOs just because they're highly sexual beings? Yeah, that too, but the people that's really running it, the people that's really doing this, orchestrating those FOs, they're doing it to harvest power. It's about power reflection. It's about energy. They could care less about how you feel down in the bottom, reflection. They are there about power. It's literally like energy. That's why you have to drink, reflection. That's why you have to, what they say, get out your body almost. You are invoking spirits. You are calling in the spirits, reflection. They doing rituals and shit in the motherfucker. Allegedly. I don't know about the Hollywood parts, but I'm for sure telling you about Ishtar's temple. Okay? Hit the like and subscribe button. You over here with the crew, and this is how we do. We shake shit up and get them uncomfortable, reflection. A lot of people like to take history and they'll rewrite it to their own benefit, but what you don't understand, you will come up with your own reality, and that doesn't mean it's true. Do you hear what I'm saying to you, reflection? Okay, so the kings, the pharaohs, they would all come to Ishtar's temple. They would exchange power. Let's talk about they're saying she would turn men into women and women into men. Reflection, you got to think they are represent, we all have feminine and we all have masculine duality. Now, I'm not saying none of the kings and the pharaohs didn't go in their other room, their other little section back there in the temple. I'm not saying that. But I am saying, reflection, it was never about trying to bend gender. It was never about people, nothing is new under the sun. The same shit you see today has been going on, reflection. It was just on a different level. It wasn't for sexual reasons. Even though that when they went to the temple, they was using that sexual energy, it was literally to manifest other shit, reflection. They wasn't doing it just to get off type shit, reflection. They was doing it to manifest power, to manifest protection, to manifest prosperity into their kingdoms, different things like that, reflection. They would come to Ishtar's temple, and you get what I'm saying? You over here in that kingdom in the north, I'm over here in the east. We come together, reflection. You get what I'm saying? Power connect with power. All right. So nothing is new under the sun. All this stuff that you see them doing, even think about the mask, reflection. Think about those masks. And when he said that they had them surgically changed, that's a lie. They did not have them surgically changed. What they came with is what they left with, reflection. What they came with is what they left with. But keep in mind, they all had a mask. Even go back to the Egyptians. Yes, they wearing masks to embody their other spirit, to represent their other spirit, their other side, reflection. But when you go to the FOs, when you went to Ishtar's temple, you wore a mask as well to represent their spirit, to represent their other side. Do you hear what I'm saying? So you hit the like and subscribe button. We are talking about Ishtar, the one who go by many names. Okay, so she was running shit, reflection. She had a lot of respect. A lot of kings, a lot of pharaohs built statues. They built temples in honor to her. Okay, so do you really think if she was there bending sexuality, that would be, you get what I'm saying, reflection? It was bigger than that. It was bigger than that. Okay, it was a bigger picture. They looking at one piece and they creating it into something totally different. And we're going to talk about the rainbow symbol as well. Yes, the rainbow symbol is a symbol of Ishtar, but it has nothing to do with really what y'all making it to do with. If you get what I'm saying, it really don't got shit to do with that reflection. It's like they're almost taking symbolism and bending it into what they want it to be. Yes, they hand in hand together, but that was never what that whole symbol was supposed to technically represent. Okay, hit the like and subscribe button. We are over here talking about the return of Ishtar. Okay. And remember, reflection, go do your own research. Go do your own research. I'm here to present this information to you, but you always supposed to go and do your own research. Okay. And again, that was the author of The Return of the Gods. Remember, when you get that book, it's some good information in there, but pick and choose what you get what I'm saying. Pick and choose, reflection.
Ishtar is a Mesopotamian goddess associated with love, beauty, sex, fertility, and war. Revered in various ancient cultures, she was often depicted with symbolic attributes like the 8-pointed star. Ishtar's mythology includes a descent to the underworld, reflecting aspects of death and rebirth. Temples dedicated to Ishtar were prominent in Babylon and other Mesopotamian cities, showcasing her significance in the pantheon. In Ishtar's descent, a central myth, she journeys to rescue her lover, Tammuz. Passing through 7 gates, she relinquishes her divine attributes, facing trials. In the underworld, Ishtar's absence causes fertility to decline. Eventually, a deal is struck, allowing her return, symbolizing the cyclical nature of life and death. Draw the temple of Ishtar and meditate with the 8-pointed star to pull your greatest desires from the void. Like and subscribe and follow.
I'm trying, excuse me, reflection. I'm trying to tell you, reflection, when you think about the underworld, when you think about that, I'm trying to tell you, it's the same person. The stories are different. You got to think the Greeks, they went over there and studied from other people, reflection. They went and studied from other people. They got these stories from other people. The question is, who did they get the stories from, reflection? Who did they get them from? Hit the like and subscribe. But we over here talking about a star. We talking about Ishtar. We talking about Yensa. We talking about whoever you want to call her, wherever she was, reflection. It's the same person. It's the same energy.
A famous meme. This is Ishtar, pronounced Easter. Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex. Her symbols, like the egg and the bunny, were and still are fertility and sex symbols. After Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, Easter was changed to represent Jesus. But at its roots, Easter is about celebration of fertility and sex. First of all, this meme is wrong. Ishtar is pronounced Ishtar, not Easter. In many languages, including Spanish, French, and Italian, the holiday is referred to by using variations of the Latin word Pascha. Secondly, Ishtar symbols were a lion and a 6-pin star, not a bunny or eggs. Thirdly, Constantine did not invent Easter. Jesus emptied the grave, and Christians were meeting on Sundays to celebrate his resurrection way before even Constantine was born. I know we like memes, but not all memes have a truthful message.
So, reflection, tell me something good. Tell me something good. Dress it up and make it real for me. Did y'all know that Easter is Ishtar? Did you know that, reflection? Did you know the egg, the bunny rabbit, all that? I told you, reflection. I told you they be dressing shit up and trying to make it real. It was an illusion, allegedly, the whole time. Just think about it though. Think about what they say Easter represents. Then think about a bunny rabbit. Then think about an egg. And then think about a basket. What does that have to do with? Do we got to do with anything, reflection? Do we have to do with anything? I ain't knocking nobody's shit. We just looking, reflection. We are just looking now. 1 + 1, it never equals 3. It just don't, reflection. You need another 1 in there. You're missing something.
This is the one. This explains our purpose on Earth if it's true. Y'all couldn't stop asking me about it, so here you go. I can't even say it. Who are the Anunnaki? Simple terms, they're the true OG creation myth as recorded by the ancient Sumerians, who are widely regarded as the first ever civilization in history. Predating even the Egyptians, the Sumerians existed about 6,000 years ago. And in 1849, our whole understanding of ancient history was shattered when 14 tablets over 4,000 years old were uncovered in their region of Mesopotamia. Y'all ready for this one? Because these tablets pretty much explain our purpose on Earth in the most clear-cut way possible. This is the story of the Anunnaki, the Eridu Genesis. So, 445,000 years ago, yes, I said that number correctly, supposed creator gods came to Earth in search of resources. The Anunnaki, whose name can be taken to mean those from which heaven to Earth came. They came from another world called Nibiru, one that visits Earth every 3,600 years, ruled by their king Anu. Now here's the first red flag. Another planet visiting ours this infrequently is impossible, right? Not according to NASA. In fact, they've been finding evidence of this planet for years. Except they call it Planet X, or Planet 9, and many top-ranking researchers analyzed data and pretty much all but confirmed its existence. And the reason we can't see it is because its orbit looks like this. A super elongated path around the sun that only gets close to Earth every 3,600 years. And we know orbits like this are physically possible, as they've observed in other exoplanets. Anyway, story goes on to say that living conditions on Nibiru deteriorated and became hostile. So the Anunnaki came down to Earth for some goods, specifically water and gold, which apparently helps restore their planet's health. Now, it might just be a coincidence, but gold is actually used in modern spacecraft to shield from radiation, so were the Sumerians aware of that? They established a base on Earth called Eridu, made for collecting these resources in the Persian Gulf. They send down Enki, Anu's son, to lead this expedition and rule over Eridu. With him, he brought the Igigi, another race of demigods who were essentially their slaves to gather the gold and water they needed. Now, the Igigi were down bad after 250,000 years of slave labor with little rewards, so they revolted but lost, and now the Anunnaki had no workers. So Anu orders Enki to create a new slave race, intelligent yet obedient. Enki combines his essence with a species of cave-dwelling savages that exist on Earth at this time. That would be Homo erectus, our prehistoric ancestors. And through this process, he created humans, us, Homo sapiens. Now, this combining of essence is taken to be interpreted as genetic engineering. Sounds absolutely ridiculous, I know, but y'all remember Bob Lazar? The whistleblower on all that UFO, space tech, and aliens, which literally all turned out to be true? Just listen to what he had to say about certain classified documents regarding genetic engineering.
There is an extremely classified document dealing with religion, and it's about that tech.
Saying basically that we're a product of genetic engineering from someone.
Yeah. How can you just swallow that whole?
I don't know about you, but he clearly seemed genuinely uncomfortable talking about this, and I can't think of any reason he'd have to lie about it. So in the tablets, they called this new species the first men, translated to Adamu. Now in Hebrew, Adam translates to man, so Adamu was taken to mean men of Adam. Does that name sound familiar to you? Reminder that these tablets were dated to around 2400 BC, a whole 1,000 years before the book of Genesis was first said to be written. These new genetic hybrid humans started working the mines in place of the original Igigi, which in return for their work were educated with the gift of civilization. Language, agriculture, governing, housing, technology, medicine. Some Anunnaki got a little close with the humans and bred with them. Yes, that's exactly what you think it means, and gave birth to giants, even though they were specifically instructed to not procreate with them. At this point, there's a new leader in charge, Enlil, who was Enki's brother, and he wasn't having any of this debauchery. But no biggie, because he had a population control plan in place. A cataclysmic event that wipes humanity from the Earth, said to be caused by Nibiru's gravitational effect on Earth, aka the Great Flood. How convenient. Enlil took this opportunity to dip back to Nibiru so that Earth can be rid of all these unworthy inhabitants. The translations claim that Enlil and his crew left in their celestial boats that took them to the sky and circled Earth. Hey, that sounds like spaceships, rockets, and orbits to me. But Enki felt more sympathy, so he instructed some chosen humans to build boats so they can survive the flood. Noah's Ark, anyone? The flooding lasted for 7 days, yet another creation story told by almost every other culture of our past. There is countless proof of this intense flooding all around the world, but that's a rabbit hole for another time. The small number of humans that survived the flood started to rebuild civilization. Enki and other Anunnaki helped them rebuild in all corners of the Earth, which is said to have given rise to the pyramids, megaliths, and advanced masonry techniques that we see all over the world. And eventually they left Earth and they had one civilization that was more advanced than the rest. This were the Sumerians. This exact story is even told in the Atrahasis of the Akkadians and the Enuma Elish from the Babylonians. Now this is where it gets trippy. The Anunnaki appointed kings, humans that acted as their representatives on Earth to make sure that the people still lived under their control, whose ruling authority would be passed down every generation in what would become the elite class as we know today. You know, Rothschilds, Illuminati, royal family, Freemasons, whatever you want to call it. And it's how they continue to rule Earth for thousands of years to this day from a planet far ass away. Basically, the story claims that we're a genetically engineered species that were designed as slaves to serve a ruling class. And we really do see this slave master paradigm all throughout history. Up until the last couple hundred years, the entire world population was divided into a peasant class and an upper class of royals, nobles, the rulers, kings, emperors, shoguns, and the plebs they rule over. But today, things are different. Or are they?
Hit the like and subscribe button. I know you like Taretha. I thought we was talking about the return of Ishtar. We are reflection, but I can't tell you about Ishtar if I don't talk about the Anunnaki. So I played that video so you can know. The Anunnaki is called, some people call them the ones who came from heaven. Ishtar is called the queen of heaven, reflection. Something in there sound for me. Some in there go together. Now, also think, reflection, they were saying that when these particular supreme beings came down, reflection, they were instructed good, clear instructions, couldn't have misinterpreted instructions at all, reflection. They said, listen, just like in the with the apple and the snake, and they said, listen, don't touch that fucking apple. Don't touch that apple. They came down, reflection. They had a clear instructions. Don't touch them workers. Those are workers. They are not, y'all not supposed to mix y'all shit. Y'all supposed to go over there to Ishtar temple. Listen. I think y'all are supposed to go over there to Ishtar temple where power meet power, royalty meet royalty. Now y'all fuck all y'all want to over there and create and manifest and whatever it is you got to do. But y'all bet not, I'm saying one more time, y'all bet not touch them workers, and they touch them anyway. Reflection, hit the like and subscribe button. I think.
Ancient aliens. And they even postulated that this queen could have ties to the Anunnaki. So who is this queen? This queen's name is Queen Puabi. And her tomb was found in the city of Ur and excavated by a British archaeologist in 1927. Now, what makes everybody question the origins of this queen, or if she even is Queen Puabi, is the fact that her skull is on the left and it's significantly larger than human skulls today. And what makes this crazy is that I think I found evidence to support this is actually the goddess Inanna that I keep talking about. And what's crazy, and I didn't know this, is that even Stitchin contends that this is something more than just a queen. And specifically even states what I state, that she's a nin, a Sumerian term which he takes to mean goddess. So here's the similarities that I just think cannot be ignored. Her burial was found at the cemetery of Ur, and her burial headdress was made with lapis and carnelian. Now, if we look, Inanna's temples were located in Ur, and she's tied to lapis and carnelian. If we look at the jewelry she was buried with, it even suggests that this was intended to be a gift to the gods in the underworld, which totally parallels the poem, The Descent of Inanna. And these were gifts that Inanna had to give to her sister, who was the queen of the underworld. Not only that, but after a closer examination of the jewelry Queen Puabi was wearing, it was discovered that date palms were included in this jewelry. And Inanna's name can also be translated into Lady of the Date Clusters. But the similarities do not end there. In early Mesopotamia, even elite women were described in relation to their husband. And Queen Puabi was identified without mention of her husband. This ties back to Inanna, who was an independent woman who never fit the narrative of the Abrahamic religions and was a queen of her own right, as she was a part of the Anunnaki pantheon and married a human. And if we look again, that tied to lapis. In fact, before his death, Stitchin even said he was willing to risk his entire career if they would just do a DNA test on Queen Puabi. So tell me, what do you guys think? Do you think this is
They ain't gotta do no DNA test. They know who she is. Reflection, allegedly. Hit the like and subscribe button. Now, what do you think about that, Reflection? What do you think about her temples were called the temples of heaven? Because she was called the queen of heaven. Reflection. They were never supposed to touch the workers. That's why, you get what I'm saying? That's why the pharaohs and the kings, they built certain things for her in honor of her. Reflection, because she wasn't just no anybody. She was royalty, but she was something more. Okay, so now you can kind of understand why you see so much of her symbolism even to this day.
Prostitution and sex. Her name was Ishtar, Ishtar. Her consort was Tammuz. And every spring, Tammuz would resurrect from a gray-colored egg. It was an Ishtar egg. And you know what would happen? On the day of resurrection, all the ladies would come to church. And all they were asked to wear was their Ishtar bonnet. And as they sat in the pews, the gentleman of the church came and picked the one that he liked. And the sexual orgies went on. And they had chicks running all over the place and rabbits running all over the place in Babylon. That
Hit the fucking like and subscribe button. We just over here looking. We just peeking inside Ishtar temple. We ain't, and she said you ain't even got to prick your finger to get in there. You don't even, that was something new. They remixed that one in there. You do not even got to prick your finger to get into Ishtar's temple. Reflection. That was a temple for royalty. They was in there trying to manifest some shit. Reflection. They was in the reflection. They was doing a whole lot of things. Okay, but listen, at the Hollywood party, if you will notice, they'll all be in a circle. If you ever watch that movie, Eyes Wide Shut, Eyes Closed Shut, something like that. Reflection, I forgot. But anyway, if they'll all be in a circle, they'll all be with their birthday suit on. You know, the one you came in the world with. Reflection, the one you came straight in the world with. They got one of them on, and then they got a mask on. That's all you need, just your birthday suit and the mask. That's all required. Don't bring nothing else. Nothing else. We don't need nothing else to be shown. Okay, don't put a string or nothing else on. Okay, so reflection, they'll all be lined up in a circle, because the circle, it represents some. Reflection, it represents a lot of things. Okay, hit the like and subscribe button. You up here with T. I ain't saying nothing, but I'm trying to say just a little something. Nothing is new under the sun, but you know they like to twist shit, remix shit, and take people's shit, rewrite other books, forget to give credit where credit was due. I think allegedly, I don't even know. Reflection, but I know that it's something up with this. It's something up with this. Reflection, okay? And we're going to figure it out, because you got to think. Reflection, in Hollywood, they will all be in a circle. They ain't got on none but their birthday suits. They'll go and they'll pick which one they want. The same shit went on in Ishtar's temple. Reflection, shit. You get what I'm saying? The kings, they already had. They didn't have to go look for nothing nowhere else. Power met power. Reflection, power met power. The goddesses, they all was there. Reflection, they was there. Okay, they was there. Okay. Are you listening to what I'm trying to say?
We have all heard of Ishtar or Inanna's Gate, but did you know that it was excavated and restored in a museum in Germany? So just in case you don't know what Ishtar's Gate is, it was built by King Nebuchadnezzar, and it was dedicated to the Babylonian goddess Ishtar, which is Inanna, as well as the gods Marduk, represented as dragons, Adad, bulls, and Ishtar, Inanna, lions. And this gate even ties to Inanna and the myth that I just talked about, Inanna's descent to the underworld. Now, what makes this interesting is how the gate was obtained. And they have had possession of this gate since after the end of the First World War in 1918. Now, you should know this is the same gate that Saddam Hussein reproduced but was destroyed in the Gulf War. But what's interesting is there is a processional way located in Ishtar's Gate that was used for a New Year's religious festival, and it lasted 12 days, which reminded me of our festival and the 12 days of Christmas. Now, many of these artifacts that comprise the processional way, which was lined with walls showing about 120 lions, bulls, dragons, and flowers, symbolizing the goddess Ishtar Inanna, was actually considered one of the original 7 wonders of the world, but has now been dismantled and distributed to several museums. And what else is interesting that I think we also need to recognize is the size of this archway. So curious to hear your guys' thoughts.
Hit the like and subscribe button, Reflection. What you need that big ass archway for? Because they were bigger back then. Reflection, the kings, they can't come through no little doorway, baby. This is royalty. Okay, hit the like and subscribe. But we over here talking about Ishtar's temple. What was really going on over there, Reflection, and why so much of her symbolism is still here today, but you don't hear shit about it. You just see her shit, but you don't hear nothing about her. I even think when movies and shit come on, Reflection, it's a tiger, a lion. I said a tiger, a lion right there, Reflection, and it's a circle, little gold circle, little gold arch around the lion, and the lion just Reflection. Why do you think they chose that? Why do you think they was just being creative, or is it just nothing is new under the sun? Are they using that little energy?
How I talked about an ancient religious battle between Yahwehism and Baalism. What if I told you we no longer engage in goddess worship because of that battle? Okay, what's important for you guys to know in this picture is the fact that there is that triad up on the top. And that triad, according to Mesopotamian mythology, is actually of 3 celestial bodies, the sun, the moon, and Venus. Now, what's interesting is the crescent moon actually depicts Nana, Sin, Suin, Shamash, Utu as a solar disk, and Ishtar Inanna as the 8-pointed star. Now, it should be noted that Inanna and Shamash are twins. But what's interesting about this information is I just dropped another video talking about Adam and Eve. And there's a part where I say that the original sin was not that of man, but an angel. So it's interesting that we have a god by the name of Sin. Now, through history, again, Inanna has always been included in this triad and can be seen depicted in different forms. I mean, this is everything that I'm talking about the Anunnaki and the ancient Mies that Inanna stole from Enlil, as she was named Queen of Heaven. So what happened to perpetuate this shift? Well, Abraham's birthplace was in ancient Babylonia. And Abraham received a message from Yahweh, who was the God of the Israelites, and the Hebrew name revealed to Moses in the book of Exodus. And what's crazy is somehow this ancient Babylonian religion had been lost for thousands of years until their rediscovery in this 20th century. See, Abraham's ancestors worshipped other gods. Okay, this is getting really long.
A Reflection, roll up, pull up. You over here with Terethia. We are going down this rabbit hole. We at the temple of Ishtar. We not even going in because she ain't want. I heard you ain't got to prick your finger to get into Ishtar's temple. But we still just looking though, because we don't know yet. We don't know if we need to go in or not. Reflection. We still looking into Ishtar's temple.
Not just Ramesses I, not just Ramesses II, the Ramessides period. There was 11 of them. She was honored, especially before Ramesses' family, but she was honored by the most powerful African rulers in Earth's history. The Ramesses family is the most powerful, quote-unquote, African family in Earth's history. What is an example of the veneration and praise? So what's an example when it says that she was highly celebrated? She was venerated and praised in the Ramesses period. So what's an example of how she was praised? How did the praise of this Anunnaki Ishtar go? Let me take you to the prayer hymn of Ishtar. Here's Ishtar again. On the Ishtar on the Akkadian Empire seal, 2350 BC to 2150 BC.
I told you, Reflection, they always want to rewatch greatness, baby. They always want to fuck up greatness. I ain't gonna play that long. If you caught it, you caught it. Reflection, let's keep this going.
Yes, this is Ishtar, but if you read anything about the
Reflection, I just got to say this before I start this video. I don't know what Ishtar did to her in another lifetime, but she looked like she was real disgusted when she said yes. You know how you see somebody and you be like, oh yes, that's them. Yes, that's them right there. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's her.
Yes, this is Ishtar, but if you read anything about the mythology behind the dark goddess that is Lilith, this is also Ninatu, this is also Lilitu, this is also Anana. It is the representation of the dark goddess that many people have ignored and or renamed or repackaged.
It looked like it really hurt her to make that video. It looked like it really, something in her stomach was hitting the back of her chest. Reflection. It looked like she really didn't want to make that video.
What if I told you that I found evidence to support that the Sphinx is actually a depiction of Inanna? If you don't believe me, stay with me to the end of this video. Now, when we look at the Sphinx, we can see that the face is different from the body. And the body was constructed out of softer yellow stone while the head was made from harder gray stone. Not only that, but there's others that have postulated that the Sphinx looks like a female deity in very ancient early drawings versus the male counterpart we see now. In fact, many say that it actually represents Ra, but in my video, Is God Really a Woman?, I postulated that Ra is actually Inanna, because both Ra and Inanna are represented by a lion, and just like Ra, she actually had a twin brother. And if we look at a Sphinx head in the Brooklyn Museum collection, we can see that the head is a female Sphinx, and it reminds me of this, just reconstructed. So if you're like me, you're probably wondering, okay, why do both of these Sphinxes have their nose totally destroyed? Many like to blame it on Napoleon and the French Revolution. However, this painting shows that this occurred well before. And this had very deep cultural beliefs in ancient Egypt. They did this because this caused the spirit to stop breathing. And the monument cannot perform its purpose anymore. I mean, if we look at the feet, very similar to these feet. Now, just in case you didn't know, this is a totally different goddess, and she's the goddess of the underworld and Inanna's older sister. But it should be noted, this is not her twin. She actually had a twin brother.
Hit the like and subscribe button. I do want to go do a correction right there. She is not Raw Reflection. I don't want anybody to get that misconfused out there. I want to definitely go back and clear that up. That is not who she is. But she didn't have a sister in the underworld. That's another depiction of her. You know, they'll dress a story up and make it real for you. Reflection. That's just another version of her. She is as above, so below. Reflection. She literally could go through both worlds, as above, so below, the upper world and the lower world. Reflection. Damn, that sound like Persephone, but I don't know. You know, these stories, Reflection, they just be colliding. Sometimes they just, okay, let me crank up my spaceship. I'm just saying, Reflection. I'm just saying, hit the like and subscribe button. We are over here talking about the return of Ishtar and the fallen angels. Reflection. And not only that, we were also talking about the Anunnaki. Reflection, and how Ishtar, the queen of heaven, is actually it's a reason why she's called the Queen of Heaven. Reflection. So definitely go do your own research. Remember, Tarika in the road up and pulled up 3 times before I came over here. So you know you get what I'm saying. Pick what you need to. Reflection and shoot to the stars, sweetie. Until next time.